Okay, good night, everyone, and welcome to our live CSEC class. Tonight, we're going to be continuing with our series of classes, and being Wednesday, we're going to be doing our topic by topic, and we're continuing with sets. So last week, we did our terminology, our set terminology, and I think we had actually started doing some calculations, if my memory serves me right. Some basic calculations for X, but mainly we went through the different terms used in sets and defined the different types of sets and what was a subset and what was a complement and disjoint and all of those terms. If you are unfamiliar with those terms, then I would suggest at some point when you have some time, you can actually go and watch that video and bring yourself up to speed in terms of getting to know all the terms that we use in sets, because it makes no sense you're doing something and seeing all these terminology and you don't know what they mean. That makes no sense. So it's always good that you familiarize yourself with these terms, and so you know for sure what's going on. All right, so now we're going to be focusing on finding X, right? Finding the value of X. So a little bit of algebra coming over into sets. And you'll find this in mathematics, and this is why algebra is my favorite topic in mathematics. Is it comes over into every other topic. It is so reliable and dependable and versatile. We use it pretty much everything. When it comes down to the crunch, algebra is called in the final analysis. The grand finale is usually an algebraic equation that's used to solve. And I always say almost everything in life can be reduced to an algebraic equation and solved. All right, so some algebra is going to come into play. So what we're going to be doing, we're going to be looking at just a few examples. Good night, just joining on the chat. DK, welcome. You are early tonight. And Zion is here. Welcome, Zion. Right, so we're going to look at some sets that they have an area that intersect. So they have members that are common to both of the sets. And sometimes we're going to be told how many members are in each of the sets. And we're asked to find the intersection. Sometimes we're going to be told the intersection, and we're going to be told how many members are in each of the sets. We might be asked, for example, to find X might be how many do not do either of them, how many are not in either of the sets. Right? So in this session, we're going to be focusing on Venn diagrams that have only two sets. Of course, at this level, you might also encounter Venn diagrams that have three sets involved, and the same principles apply, but just to another degree, right? So we're also going to look at those sets as we go along, but tonight we're focusing on two sets and where the two sets overlap with each other. I think we're going to do maybe about 4, 3 or 4. All right. So I'm going to go to the board and I'm going to actually draw the Venn diagrams and we're going to fill in the amounts and find X. All right, so let's start with the first question. The first question says, so we have a number of persons, and in this case, it's going to be a case of a subset. So we have French and we have Spanish, right?
Yes, miss.
So everybody who studies Spanish, they also study French. But not everybody who does French does Spanish.
So Spanish is a subset of French.
Right. That's Kumani. Everybody who studies Spanish studies French, but not everybody who studies French studies Spanish. So immediately Imani realized that we're talking about subsets, and as to which one is a subset of which one. So Imani, you're saying Spanish is a subset of um, French,
French.
right?
Yes, miss.
Okay. All right, so here are the constraints, and you can write them down, jot them down. So everybody who does Spanish does French. 29 persons do Spanish. So write that down. 29 persons do Spanish. 50 persons do French. And 36 persons don't study French or Spanish. And there are 86 students being considered in this Venn diagram. So let's go again. Jot these down in point form and we're going to draw the Venn diagram. So we're saying everybody who does Spanish also do French. But not everybody who does French does Spanish. There are some students who do neither French nor Spanish. So 29 persons study Spanish, 50 persons study French, and 36 persons do neither French nor Spanish. And there are 86 students in all. So what we want to know is how many persons do French only. That's what we want to find out. So I'm going to draw the Venn diagram and you're going to tell me where to put what. Where do I put what number? So this is the first one we're doing. This is our Venn diagram, our rectangle. That's the universal set and it's 86 students. We know that one set is a subset of the other. That means they intersect this way. Is that how you drew yours?
Yes, miss.
So when everything in one set is contained within the other set, this is how we draw the intersection. So is this the French circle or the Spanish circle?
Miss, the bigger one is the French circle.
All right, so the bigger one is the French circle and the smaller one is the Spanish circle because everybody who does Spanish
Does
does
French.
French. So everybody in here is contained within the French, but not everybody who does French does Spanish. So this area out here would represent which set of students?
Mr. Person
Students
who
who
don't
study
study.
what?
Miss, could you please
How
read?
would we describe how would we describe the students that fall in here? What would we say
Mr. Person who don't
about
study
them?
either, miss.
Miss 50
Huh?
minus X.
Say it again.
Mr. Person who don't study either, miss.
Who does neither one
Yes, miss.
here? But remember, this
That's
this is
French.
within the French. So these people will be French only, don't it?
Yes, Miss.
And these people will be what?
Miss, those would be Spanish only.
Spanish only? You sure?
Oh, sorry. Spanish intersect French.
So Spanish and French, right?
Yes, Miss.
These persons will be Spanish and French. All right, but they said that there are some persons who don't do either Spanish or French. So where would we put them? 36
Miss, on the
persons,
outside, not in any of the circles, in the
not in it.
box, in the
36
rectangle.
persons go out here. All right. 36 persons don't do Spanish or French. And 29 do Spanish. And 50 do French. And they want us to find X. So let X equal those who do French only. How many persons do French only?
Miss 50,
There's 50
50
people.
Miss
minus
50.
X.
50 persons do French only.
No, Miss 50 minus X. Because you're trying to find. Wait.
50 minus X.
Wait, no. X is 50. It's is French only. Okay.
We're trying to find X, right?
Oh, we're supposed to subtract the Spanish amount from the French amount. How about we
Right.
don't? Yes, we do.
We're supposed to subtract those who do Spanish and French from the total of those who do French, and we would get those who do French only. Do you see that? Everybody's seeing that logic?
Yes, Miss.
Everybody on board with that?
Yes,
So,
Miss.
so French only would be
Is it
those who
froze?
do French in all
Yes,
minus
it would be
those
50 minus 29, which is
Spanish.
20.
And that would be what?
21. Miss, it's frozen. It's
Frozen
pretty good as well. Yes, Miss.
still?
Yes, Miss. Miss, it wasn't frozen just now, but then it froze.
And it's still frozen?
Yes, Miss.
But you can hear me.
Yes, Miss.
All right. Okay, so our next Venn diagram. So let me tell you the constraints. So some persons do math, some persons do English, and some
Okay.
persons do both, right?
It's
Is
no
it back?
longer. Yes, Miss, it's back.
Right. So the total number of students is 100. 59 do math and 48 do English. And we are to find out how many students do both maths and English.
Miss, could you repeat what the universal set would be?
It's 100.
Okay,
So
Miss.
it's 100 students. So that's our Venn diagram. The universal set is 100. 59 students do maths and 48 students do English. And we need to find out how many students do both. So,
Miss, me.
what do we draw?
Miss, so we draw the two circles intersecting, Miss, one representing math and one representing English, and the intersection be X.
So we draw two circles intersecting, and one would represent maths and one would represent English. All
English.
right, and what's next?
Miss, the intersection would be X.
All right, so the intersection is X.
Yes, Miss. And because we want to find out what is X, we put in the math circle 59 minus X, and in the English circle 48 minus
So,
X.
so 59 students do maths. So for maths only, it will be 59 minus X. That's what you're saying, right?
Yes, Miss.
And 46 students do English. So this is the English circle.
Yes, Miss.
So for English only, it will be
46 minus X.
minus X. All right, so how do we find what X is? How do we
Miss,
find what
Subtract. Subtract
Miss,
Subtract
when
what?
you group them, Miss, and work it out.
English from the maths, miss.
Subtract the English from the maths.
Mm,
So you're saying we should subtract 46 from 59?
No, miss. No, miss. We're gonna plus it, miss, and then subtract it from 100, miss.
yeah.
All right, so what we're going to do it step by step. We're going to show the
Miss, when you
algebra
group them,
way of solving for X.
Yes, Miss.
We're going to create an equation. Since we know that everything must add to
100.
100, right?
Yes, Miss.
So we're going to add maths only plus the
Plus
intersection
the intersection plus
plus
English only.
only, and it should equal to 100.
100.
So that means 59 minus X plus X plus 46 minus X should give 100. And the plus X minus X cancel out because they're additive inverse.
Yes, Miss.
All right. So 59 plus 46 gives what?
105.
105 minus X equal 100.
Yes, Miss.
So 105 minus 100.
Minus 100 equals X. And
So
X
X
would equal 5.
is
5.
X is 5.
Miss, X is 5.
Yeah.
Yes.
And for, wait. Miss. Oh, never mind. Never mind, Miss. I got that. I was just.
Alright. So if we were to fill in these numbers, so X is 5, that's the intersection. English only would be the 46 minus 5, which
Minus
is
5, which is 41.
41. And maths only would be the
Only would be
59
54.
minus 5, which is 54, right? So when we add the 54, the 5, and the 41, we get back our 100 for the universal sets. Do you see that? Does anyone have any questions so far?
No, Miss. I'm clear on it.
Everybody good?
No, miss. Yes, miss.
Someone has a question? Someone said no? Or you said no, you don't have any question? All right, so let's go again. So in this case, jot down the constraints. So there are 80 persons who practice martial arts. 30 of them practice karate. 46 of them practice taekwondo. And 12 of them practice other martial arts, but neither karate nor taekwondo. And we want to find how many persons practice both karate and taekwondo. So let's go again. It's 80 persons and they all practice martial arts. 30 of them practice karate. 46 of them practice taekwondo. And 12 of them practice neither karate nor taekwondo. And we want to find out how many practice both karate and taekwondo. How are we going to draw?
Miss, it's the same process as as the second
Same
example.
one as number
As
2.
number 2.
Yes, miss.
Yes, miss.
All right. So our Venn diagram, the universal set is
It's 80.
80.
80.
Since some practice both, is going to overlap like this.
Yes, miss.
So we have
Miss, could you pick up
karate,
the laptop, please? The space on the
taekwondo.
laptop.
We're
This is too high.
finding. Oh, you're not seeing it. Okay,
No,
This
hold
is
miss.
on.
high.
Seeing it now?
Yes, miss.
All right.
Yes, miss.
Yes, Rachel?
No, miss, I was saying that I see it.
So what do we put here in the intersection?
Miss, in the intersection, it would be X or
Miss X.
any variable.
X, because that's what we're going to find, right?
Yes, miss.
Okay. And that goes in karate only.
It's 30 minus X.
All right. So since 30 persons practice, we don't know the intersection, so we're using extrapolate that. So if the full circle is 30
Yes,
and this is X, then karate only would be 30 minus X.
minus X.
What do we put here for taekwondo?
46 minus X.
46 minus X.
Okay, so everybody who does taekwondo is 46. So taekwondo only will be 46 minus X. Is that all?
No,
12
miss.
persons.
Martial.
Oh, miss, the 12 is supposed to be in the box. The 12 is supposed to be in the box. Not in any circle, just in the
So
rectangle.
12 should
This
be in the
12 should be
box.
outside.
12 persons, they practice martial arts, but they don't practice either karate or taekwondo.
Or taekwondo.
All right, so how are we going to find X, the intersection?
Miss, we're going to say
Miss
80
30
equals
So 80 equals
30
30
minus
minus
X
X
30
plus
minus X
Like
plus X
plus 46 minus X
plus
plus
12
five,
plus
6
46
minus
minus X.
plus 12.
plus the 12, right?
Yes, miss.
Yes, miss.
All right, and negative X plus X, that's 0. So that's cancelled out.
Without
So we have 30 plus 46
6, which is
plus 12,
Miss
76 plus
76.
88 minus X.
88. So
88.
80 is equal to 88
88
minus
minus
X.
X.
Alright.
So
Bring over X.
bring out
X
This
is
is
equal
carry
to
over X
88
and the
minus
8.
8
8.
minus 80, which would
This
give you
X would be
X
8.
plus 8.
8. Alright, so the intersection is 8. 8 persons practice both karate and taekwondo.
And taekwondo.
Alright, so we can put 8 here then for the intersection.
Yes,
So
miss.
karate only would be the
Oh,
30 minus
minus
8,
8 is 22.
which is 22. And taekwondo only would be
38.
It's
40
38.
minus 8, which is
38.
38.
38.
So when we add the
Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm.
22 plus 8, that's 30 plus 38 is 68 plus 12, we get the total of 80. All right?
80.
All right, so let's do another one. So this time we are asked to find those who do neither. So 41 persons drive to work and 30 persons walk to work. 9 persons do both. So sometimes they drive, sometimes they walk.
Okay, miss.
And X number of persons do neither. They neither drive nor walk. So in all of the group of persons interviewed, it was 120 persons.
Okay, miss.
And they want to find out how many persons neither drive nor walk.
Miss, I think this one is kind of simple.
So 41 drive, 30 walk, 9 and X would be there. So
Yes, miss.
let's see then. So again, they're going to intersect. It's 120 persons interviewed. So we have more filling. What goes
Okay,
here?
miss, you're kind of frozen, so I can't really see.
Let's miss it froze.
In the middle, in the intersection,
Would be 9.
Froze.
would be 9. All right, so 30 people walk. So how many, what do I put here?
It's 21.
Huh?
21
Huh?
because,
It's because 30 minus 9.
Oh, yeah. Yes, miss.
okay, so if 9 people are in the intersection and the full circle is 30, so walk only would be 30 minus 9, 21,
21.
21.
and 41 people drive.
So that's 32.
So
32,
this would
miss.
be
It's 32.
32.
41, which is
32.
It's 32.
32. And what goes out here? X, right?
Miss
X,
X,
miss.
X miss.
It's X.
Yeah, because that's what we. So we find X then.
Miss, we would have 120 equals 32 plus 21 plus 9 plus X.
All right, so the full universal set, so 120 is equal
Yes,
to 29
It's 21 plus 9 plus 32.
plus 2 plus X, right?
Yes.
yes, miss.
Right?
Yes,
Okay.
miss.
So 21 plus 9, that's 30 plus
That's 30 plus
32 is 62.
62.
X. So X would be 120 minus 62.
It's X would be 58.
Yes, I got that well.
So I got X as 58.
All right, so X will be 58.
Yes, miss.
Yes, miss.
Everybody on board with that?
Yes, miss.
Yes, miss.
Okay.
Um,
Is it still frozen?
No, miss. It just freezes sometimes. Not a lot though.
Because some persons are saying they can't hear. All right. Does anyone have any comments on what we've done?
No, miss.
So basically, we're saying we can be given. We're asked to find x. When we do sets again next week, we're going to look at finding x when you're given 3 sets. So you have 3 sets intersecting with x in the middle in the intersection, and you're going to see how you have to work your way on the middle. 3 sets to find what x is. Also scenarios including where you have persons who are in neither of the sets. We're going to do some more scenarios where we have subsets or a set contained within a set, which is what we did, similar to what we did for number 1.
Yes, miss.
So we're going to look at some more examples of calculating the value of x. But remember, when you're doing the CSEC, especially the paper 2, you are given marks, or actually step, but you're given marks for key. So you have to step because you get marks for, right? So you can have a question. Is valued, for example, 6. Some persons might think, okay, the correct answer, if I straight, or even if I know it intuitively, I know the answer, I write down the answer, in their mind, I'd be saying, well, I should get 6 marks. That's not how it works. That's not how it works. You are allotted points, might be broken up. Maybe for the final answer, you might, but the steps lead to that. Maybe 3 important steps, each of which in the wrong answer, and still getting 3 points out of the 6. Whereas somebody might skip those steps and get the right answer and might still only get 3. That's fine. So it's very important that you show your steps. So in the sets, when you are asked to find a missing part of the Venn diagram, all right, so the first thing you do is you're going to use, if they don't tell you which variable to use to represent the unknown that you're going to solve for, you must state the very first part of your answer, let x be this. So just like what I did for question 1, let x be what it was, the French only. That's what they had wanted, right?
Yes, miss.
Let x represent French only. Let x represent the intersection. If it's another letter you're using, let n represent that. Tell the examiner what you're using the variable to represent. Don't just go and put in a letter and say, well, they must know say that I mean. They must understand what I mean. No. Unless they give you, and as a matter of fact, even if they give you the variable, I still suggest you say, let X be that, or let W be that, or whatever it is. First thing. And then you are going to formulate an equation, an algebraic equation to show the sum of the different parts of the Venn diagram and that they're equal to the universal set. So when you have done that, you're going to go step by step, just as how you would do if it was algebra and you were solving the equation. If you're subtracting 5 from both sides, you do that. You're adding 5 to both sides, you're dividing both sides by 2, whatever you're doing, step by step by step. Don't take it for granted that you can just put on the right answer and you're going to get the full marks. Like I said, it does not work like that. And persons might come out of the exam thinking that they're going to get a 1 and they end up with a 2 and they can't figure out why. These are some of the reasons. So make sure you show your steps. Now, like for example, number 1, where we had subsets, you have to bear that in mind. Read carefully. If it says that all the elements in one set are contained within the other set, don't draw the sets intersecting like how they're doing in number 2 or 3 or 4. Because then you're going to show up yourself that you don't understand what you're doing. Subsets are a kind of intersection, but they're a special kind of intersection. And if all the sets are contained within the other, you need to show it as how it is done in number 1, with one circle within the other circle. Now remember, for subsets, if A is a subset of B, their intersection is A and their union is B. Let me say that again. This is a law in sets. If A is a subset of B, then A intersect B is equal to A, and A union B is equal to B. And it makes sense, because if everything in A is contained within B, then A represents their union, their intersection. And since A is already contained within B, then B represents the union of the two sets. So since number 1 asks for French only, that's where you had to put your set. If you drew it like how we draw number 2, and you put your X in the intersection, and then you put in French only, you'd put X in French only and 29 in the intersection, and then the other parts of it would have nothing in there to be blank. You're going to show up yourself that you don't understand what you're doing. So watch out for the subsets and make sure that you draw them as they are supposed to be drawn. Another thing you need to watch out for is when you are told that there are a certain number of elements that are not in either of the sets. So we had that scenario in question 3 and question 4, right?
Yes, miss.
In question 3, we were told what that number is. We were told how many persons are not in the other 2 sets. And so we could put that down, and we were solving for the intersection. In number 4, the persons who were doing neither was the unknown that we needed to find. So you have to be careful where it's supposed to go. Because it's so common for us to think that, okay, they want the intersection. So you might just go straight and you want to put X in the middle all the time. It doesn't always work like that. They might just want the unknown value might be anywhere. It could be anywhere. It could be outside the circles. It could be in French only, it could be in Spanish only, it could be as well as it could be the intersection. So you just have to read carefully and make sure you label. You're asked to draw a diagram. Best believe that part of the points. If they say draw a diagram, and as a matter of fact, I would recommend even those questions that don't ask you to draw a diagram, once you're doing math, even if
It
the
would be better.
question doesn't say draw a diagram, I would recommend that you draw your diagram. Sketch something so you can see a tangible representation of the question, especially when you're doing trigonometry and geometry. Because when you can see the image of what you're doing, it becomes clearer to you what your options are and how you can and what formulas you can use to solve. So even if it don't say draw it, I would recommend that you draw something and label them properly. Label the unknown where it should go, put in your figures that you're given, and that will help you towards solving whatever it is you're asked to solve. All right, so we're going to wrap it up there for tonight for the sets. So tomorrow we'll have our formula class, formula and shortcuts. What we're going to be looking at tomorrow in the formula class is the law of indices. So there are particular laws that relate to indices, and by indices we mean the powers or the exponents, those little digits that you see to the the upper right hand corner of the number. So for example, x squared, the 2 is the index. So the laws of indices govern how we manipulate powers. That's what we're going to be looking at tomorrow. We're going to be looking at what happens when we multiply terms with indices, when we divide them, when we raise a power to a power, when we have a negative power, when we have a fractional power, when we have the 0 as the power. All of those things we need to find out what to do. So don't miss that class because it's very important for your algebra, the foundation of your algebra. You have to know how to manipulate your indices. So that's the class for tomorrow. And also remember, tomorrow is when we have our midnight oil class at 12 midnight until 2 a.m. We're going to be doing our 60 multiple choice questions. So the paper 1 multiple choice. In the first week we did 20 questions. Last week we did 40 and we had much time to spare. So we are challenging ourselves, and this week we're going to try to complete all 60 multiple choice questions. Because remember, in the CSEC paper 1, you're going to be doing 60 questions. So we're going to try to do all 60 within the time. So when you come to the formula class and you leave tomorrow, you get your rest and you set your alarm to wake you up in time for the 12 midnight class, and stay all the way and try to work the 60 questions. So I'll see you tomorrow. Scholars, thank you for being with me
Thank you,
and
miss.
sharing your
Please
space.
remember,
Please remember what?
please remember, we're not just solving math problems, we're changing lives.
Absolutely. Say that again for me, please.
Please remember, we're not just solving math problems, we're changing lives.
We are changing lives. That is so true. We're not just solving math problems, we're changing lives. Thank you, Amari and John and Imani and Rashawn and Alex for being in studio with me tonight. And
Sandration.
Drayshawn,
Andresha.
Drayshawn, yes, for the first time we're having Drayshawn in studio. He's usually in the chat. All right, Drayshawn. So looking forward to seeing you tomorrow as well in the midnight cluster.
Yes, miss.
And this time we're going to see if you're falling asleep or not. Because
No, because I was not
I
sleeping at
think last week some of you scholars were hiding away in the chat because you didn't want us to see
Miss
that you were
last week
dozing.
commented like 50
Miss,
times.
he was the only one that was commenting in the chats.
All right, so he's gonna prove is what he's made of this week in the midnight class. He's gonna prove that he's made of good stuff. All right, guys. See you tomorrow. Take care of yourselves.
You
Bye,
too,
miss.
Miss. See you
All
tomorrow.
right. Bye bye.